amazing first public reading of our brilliant play from True Friends. It's been an amazing last 5 weeks, drifting back into this beautiful piece. Throughout the whole process, most of this crew is editing it, and it's really great that they're all dressed up nicely this evening. And yeah, well, that's enough about me and the cast, but I hope you all enjoy this evening. And yeah, no further ado, we'll pass back to Robert.
Tipping. Cowboy.
Okay. For housekeeping, there are a couple more chairs that are available up the front if you're not too scared. And thank you very much, everybody. Thanks, Matt. See you later. Yeah, you guys know. Oh, Martin knows we don't like too. There are a couple of cameras in the room, just so that you know. Is the advice I would give, and let us know if you really object to that, particularly Tracy down the back. Thank you very much for helping out with our presentation tonight. So let Tracy know if you don't want your face seen anywhere in public related to this. Exits that side and that side, you can see the lovely bright lights, and don't anticipate any fires. We've got the COVID distancing, social distancing chair regimes. If you move them for your own comfort, just be aware that other people might move away from you. It might start shuffling, and you know, that's up to you then what you do with that. We did have a lovely 5 weeks, except the last week of our 5-week preparation was blown away by a cyclone, as happens in this neck of the woods. Tropical low at that stage, but it did mean that we did have no power here and no one was coming here in the rain with no air conditioning. So that's pretty much it for any other. Has everyone signed in? Make sure that we're all COVID registered. And that's it for housekeeping. Toilets up the back, so we're going to keep the doors closed. I'll just go up and close this while I finish up my housekeeping tour. Oh yes, please, you have your phone on. You'll see who we are and how we operate as a team and how we put in for each other. And tonight we're putting in the best for our employees.
This is Tropical Arts. I introduce Kevin, who's the stage director.
He's a director, one of the directors.
Yes. Okay.
Brief introduction to Tropical Arts, that's what was on the email.
Oh, okay. A brief introduction to Tropical Arts. Well, we've been in operation for about 13 years, and myself and another accountant, Tony Birch, started up to do Shakespeare at the Tanks, and our first show was The Tenant. Since then, there's been virtually an annual Shakespeare at the Tanks, and the organisation has morphed from what I would say was a theatre group setting about to try and collect actors to do Shakespeare, to a very much a community theatre, which is all welcoming and comes comes in all shapes and sizes. And I hope that many of the people who are here have seen some of the productions that have been put on at the tanks and thoroughly enjoyed them. Certainly, you should go away with a heartwarming experience. And I'll get back to the word inclusion. Avril's strength in that direction and pushing the organisation into that direction has resulted in a wonderful array of people going on the stage and doing amazing things. Tonight is another example of this amazingness in what I would say is the world first. Aaron's putting this play together. It's a sensational job. I shouldn't say that because it precurses what you're going to see here. Mainly what you're going to hear. But certainly we've all been very much enjoying this 5-week process of trying to get everything going. The Tropical Arts is setting about another Shakespeare at the Tanks this year, so I hope you'll all be looking forward to coming along in October to see what we put together. And there's also a couple of other things in train. We're hoping to do some Shakespeare off the back of the truck and things in and around, so you may be surprised, alarmed and terrified by some Shakespearean actors wanting to rape you around you sometime during this coming year. But certainly the standard show that I hope you all love will be on in October. Enough?
Thank you very much. Thank you. So check-in is a tropical arts thing, whereby we need to hear everybody's voice in the room because you're all important. And even though you've come here and you're trying to hide at the back, we still want to hear your voice in the room. Normally we go around and say, how are you? And we ask 3 questions, but that's going to take forever. So we're just going to do a really super quick one. I'm going to ask you to call out an opposite to what I call out. Just use your voice and call out, if I say up, down. Say old, young. If I say big, small. And if I say square, round. See, now this is where people start to diverge, right? If I say blue, yellow, red. If I say aquamarine, you're all individuals, yes. Okay, give yourself a round of applause. That was the briefest of check-ins. Over to you, Joy. Business. You want to have your peanuts? So you want me to say that? Rocket.
Invocation from Sandy.
So Sandy Taylor is a wonderful friend of tropical arts and a special friend of mine who we talk feminism with quite a bit. So I could think of no one better to give us a couple of words about this particular day. Sandy Taylor.
Well, I'll keep it nice and short and sweet. In terms of feminism, I think as a Murray woman, as a black woman from northwest Queensland, living in a little country town, I think my ideas of feminism differ somewhat from the mainstream feminism philosophy and ideology, but that's another day. But we do enjoy having a yarn about women's empowerment. But particularly on this day, International Women's Day, I think we do need who are fighting the good fight. We need to do it collectively. We need to still stay focused on and keep our eye on the ball around equality, pay equity, our rights in particular, and just really ensure that we create a pathway for our daughters and our daughters' daughters, because we're still not there. But we have amazing resilience, us women. If we can have children and bear children and raise our children and craft their spirit, I think we can still keep up the good fight in relation to also ensuring that the quality of life of all women is going to improve over time. Even though in 1907 there was the first advocacy in March for women, only in 1975 was it proclaimed the International Women's Day. So really, in terms of that collective national, international, global message that came out of the UN, we still do have really a long way to go, really, from 75 till now. It's quite embryonic. But I know we can keep going, and I'd like to thank people for acknowledging IWD Day, and for the ladies and gentlemen that did go to our local events, thank you for supporting that. And also to the lovely people earlier who did the acknowledgement to country. That's very special to me. So thank you for adhering and upholding that protocol for First Nations people. Thank you, and I'm looking forward to a lovely evening.
I was moving that to Doug, but Doug already kind of welcomed us to the presentation, so I think, thank you. What about the next one? Joy, you want to give us the start of that one?
We'll try.
Yep.
Outline the presentation and introduce to everything, the play, the idea, the project from Aaron and
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, you may not know Aaron Lee, but most of us do. Aaron, would you come and stand next to me while I introduce So Aaron Lee is our guest of honour tonight because back in 2019, that was just before Christmas, I received an email from Aaron saying, hey, I've written a play. And so over that Christmas break, I found time to read this play, and I was really surprised. I was very impressed, and I was really excited. So I contacted Aaron with this enthusiasm, and so since then, so all of last year we kind of did a little bit of a chat and what are we going to do, and a little bit step and a little bit step, until this year when we just hit the ground running in this inclusive explorers process. And Aaron graciously accepted the challenge to go first in that process of letting tropical arts explore a play. Now, so Aaron, first of all, would you be able to tell the audience a little bit about how you're feeling at this very moment?
Yeah, good. Yes, I'd like to thank Liana for basically inspiring me and helping me during the first half of my script writing process.
Would you like to tell us who Liana is, please?
Liana was a support worker at ARC, but now she's in a Miss Sydney, so I'd like to thank Liana for really inspiring me.
And so Aaron, you're saying that you got your script writing beginnings in this very hall?
Yes.
Wow,
story all about Sheena. Yes, basically during the story writing program I told Liana when I wanted to learn how to write a script. So we basically researched script writing softwares on the computer. Then I basically found an online script writing software called a Writer Duet, and I started to log in and then create my first project demonstrations on how my character acts and that. And then
I'm very wanting to get people to know about, when I haven't figured out, why did you choose this character Sheena, and how did you select her as a character?
well, I basically just written this story, thought of a name, and then I just took it from there.
So it was just as it came out of you, you just wrote it, just your fingers moving on the page, and as you thought of it, you wrote it.
Yes.
Okay, and it's pretty impressive to have that kind of flow and end up with a structure that we've ended up with. So what we did for those 4 weeks that we were rehearsing here, or working on the play here, was we read out the play. So we read it out in 2 different nights, but as we read it, we catalogued it basically. I do have my recycled notes over here. So basically, we catalogued it, and you know, everybody took a little piece of paper, or a job, a task, and we catalogued the main characters, the location, how long each scene took, and the plot points in each scene. And then we had a little side square over here, not much in these ones, but a lot of them are very busy. And those side squares also catalogue Aaron's deep dives into tech. So each scene has a deep dive into some kind of system or technology, which you'll see a little bit of playing out tonight. Okay, so that's what we did for those, and then we went back and used the map to decide how did the character arc. You know, is there a story? Is this going this way? Is it going that way? How is this character changing over time? And do we really have a play? Is this a structure? We were investigating that very question. Is it a structure? Is it a play? And in fact, we found very clearly that the plot points just keep building into a crescendo. We're not going to give you the last scene tonight. It's just too much of a crescendo. We wouldn't be able to cope. You'd all know that's experience for everybody. It's a huge ending, isn't it?
Yes.
And also, but unfortunately, that would have been a great scene to do because we do have a bit of a star in Eben there, because there is a character, not called Eben, but called Dave, who's very much Eben-like. Would you say that Dave is somewhat more along Eben's as in the tech side of things?
So,
Yeah. Alright. Spend a fair bit of time together in the tech box. Alright, so just before we get started, Aaron, is there anything else you'd like to say?
yes, I'd like to say thank you to him, thank you to Tropical Arts and overall for putting this on. Thank you to the Cairns Post for taking my picture to put in the newspaper, and of course thank you to Cairns FM 89.1 for the interview.
Yeah. Yes, I think we can sit down. What's next? What's happening? All right. Right, so this is our first scene. for Lucy at a chemist shop called Kenland, which Lucy owns, runs, manages, does everything for. Okay. They've just recently gone to a play, and then Lucy has said, let's go back to Kenland for a party. Okay. Without further ado, I'll go to town.
So, as this has been introduced, we're going to enjoy seeing Kenland night parties. Lucy takes Sheena to the chemist after dark. They both get out of the minivan. They look at each other.
Oh, my gosh! I really like your dress with sparkles on it. It's great with your rectangular glasses, and I really like your long black straight hair.
Why, thank you, Sheena. I really like your dress with the flowers on it. I think it really suits you.
My apologies. Why, thank you, Lucy. I have never been to a chemist at night time before. I'm so nervous.
So Lucy opens up the Kenland with her master key.
Wait outside while I set the alarm to off.
Lucy sets the alarm to off by putting a 5-digit code in the alarm system. Dot, dot, ding, ding, beep. After the code has been pressed, Lucy returns to Sheena.
Come on, Sheena, you can come in now.
When Sheena comes into the chemist, Lucy closes and locks the door. Sheena's a bit nervous and a bit shaken up. She trembles because it is dark in the chemist and the lights are not even turned on. Sheena is breathing heavily and her heart is beating very quickly because she is frightened of the dark.
Oh my God. Who's that? Lucy, is that you? Oh, I'm so scared of the dark, Lucy. Please don't lead me into a false sense of security, please.
That was me closing the doors.
Lucy goes over to Sheena and sees that she has an anxious and worried look on her face, and Sheena was about to burst into tears. So Lucy gets her a box of tissues from the counter, and Lucy wipes away her tears, and Lucy sings to her in a calm voice to calm her down. Lucy is singing, and in a soft, calm, and soothing voice.
Sheena, are you okay? I see tears coming down your pretty face. Why are you crying?
I'm sometimes a bit frightened of the dark. Can you please keep safe and secure, please?
Let me get you a box of tissues from the counter, and I will wipe away your tears. Don't you cry, Sheena. I can hear you are breathing heavily, and your heart must be beating very fast.
Lucy gets a box of tissues from the counter, and Lucy wipes away her tears, and Sheena gets another tissue and blows her nose. Lucy puts the first tissue in the bin near the counter. Sheena puts the second tissue in the bin near the counter.
Will you please turn the lights on, because it's too dark?
Sure, I will turn on the lights.
Lucy turns on the lights in the chemist so they can see what they are doing. Lucy turns to Sheena and sings to her to calm her fears.
It's okay. It's okay. I will keep you safe, my dear. I know you are frightened of the dark. I'm here to protect you and keep you safe. You don't need to be afraid. Lie down, my dearest friend. You feel safe and secure with me. Safe and secure with me.
Ah, Lucy. Can you cuddle me tight and speak me out?
Sure, why not? Now I'm going to spin you around once. I don't want to get too dizzy.
Oh, hold me close and hold me tight.
Oh, come here, Sheena.
Sheena walks over to Lucy and Lucy cuddles Sheena tight and spins Sheena around once. While she is cuddling her tight, Sheena takes slow, deep breaths and her heart goes back down to normal rhythm. Sheena feels the feeling of protection and she stops crying. And Sheena smiles and they pull back from each other after the cuddle.
Dear Lucy, my friend Lucy, I am safe
Lucy reaches out her hand and Sheena takes it. At first they skip hand in hand all around the chemist. They giggle and they jump up and down. Out the back of the chemist they smile and she shows her the music system. Music during the day comes from a chemist radio station in Sydney. For the night, Lucy brings her iPad and hooks it up to the PA system. They both take turns at choosing songs to dance to. They use YouTube and Spotify to play the music. They sit down and have a look. Lucy runs her through the system. When the Viennese waltz music starts, Sheena and Lucy look at each other in the eyes and they curtsy to each other.
Hey, may I have these dance, please, Lucy?
Yes, you may. Do you want to dance the Viennese waltz? It's going to be a fast dance.
Oh, I'd like to give it a try.
Sheena's a bit scared of going fast. She's never been fast ever since she had been on the breakdance ride at the showgrounds. She has never danced Viennese waltz in her life.
Lucy, please, help me try it.
Sure. You said don't be frightened.
Sheena and Lucy walk to the outside of the aisles where there's more room to waltz. Sheena has a nervous look on her face.
Ready, Sheena?
Ready, Lucy?
Well, hold on tight to me, and here we go.
Go! Sheena and Lucy waltz around the outside of the aisles.
Oh my God! This is so much fun! I'm enjoying seeing these walls around the chemist.
Would you like to go for another Viennese waltz in the chemist?
Oh, yes, please!
Well, hold on tight to me.
And Sheena and Lucy go for another Viennese waltz all around the chemist.
I'm gonna go with that Viennese waltz with me.
Okay, one more time. Around the chemist.
Sheena and Lucy go for one more Viennese waltz around the chemist. And then they slow down and stop.
That was so much fun, Lucy. Thank you for keeping me safe and holding on to me tight.
After the Viennese waltz, Lucy's heart was beating rapidly. So Lucy tried to catch her breath. So Sheena decided to put on some slow and relaxing music to try to get Lucy to relax and bring her heart and breathing down to normal rhythm.
Now, Lucy, just relax. Breathe slowly. Think deeply.
And Lucy and Sheena slow dance. Lucy breathes slow and deep.
Lucy, my dear friend, I know your heart was beating fast, but now I can sense your heart will be slowing, and I've got you. I've got to know. You just relax, let the music calm down.
Okay, Sheena, I am safe, I am calm. I am going to slow dance with you and let my heart go back down to normal rhythm.
Sheena and Lucy slow dance. They rock each other back and forth. They sway each other from side to side. Lucy and Sheena both cry tears of joy.
We have to do this again!
Q&A discussion from Apple.
All right, so that was the Chemland night party scene, which is pretty fun, right, at the end. And Aaron, could you stand with me and talk to the audience about this scene? I just wanted to say that Chemland, with everybody coming in to the Viennese waltz, was a directorial decision that Aaron wasn't necessarily happy with. But you've got your reasons. Could you tell the audience why you wouldn't necessarily put all those people into play?
Because it's only Sheena and Lucy, that's the way I basically envision it.
Correct, right. So Aaron has a really strong vision about what he sees is in the play and how the play goes, and is, really quite remarkably firm in telling us that. So we have to really be open. I have to be very open about why I'm making decisions and how I'm making decisions. I'm not just trampling over Aaron's ideas and going, but it's going to be better with 100 people in that scene, right? So basically that was just to give you the sense of dancing and so forth. But actually in the play itself, it's just the two dancing around the Chemland at night. And so I was wondering, as you were listening to that, were there any questions that came to mind? Because it's a different voice than you often hear in the play. You don't often hear the kind of, I would say, quirky. I would use polite. They're very polite. And there was other features in there. Did you notice any kind of odd features or anything those actors were up to? They were singing a lot. Yeah. Singing quite a bit. And this, what's the singing about?
It's about Lucy sings her sentences sometimes whenever she feels like it.
And I heard Sheena singing some as well. Does Sheena start singing?
Yes, whenever Lucy sings whenever she feels like it. Yes.
Yeah, and so this singing sort of starts with Lucy, and then Sheena sort of picks it up, and it is the pickup of energy in Lucy as she goes on through the scenes. Are there any questions that you would like to ask Aaron at this point? You don't have to. Anything that comes up. Other actors on stage, any questions or points about that so far?
I just noticed about the singing.
Lucy is our secretary, ladies and gentlemen, and a wonderful actor.
I just noticed this Aaron's play. I really noticed how much that we don't realise that we do. I can see so much of the kind of bye, see you later, and we do it, and then we're kind of like, oh, they're doing that. We do that every time we get out of the cars at night, and that's really good because that introduces kind of the second scene that we're going to look at tonight, which has a lot of activity at the beginning and a lot of activity at the end, but in the middle there's this scene about food, and Aaron kind of brings things up to these crazy dizzying heights of a Viennese waltz at night in Chemland, down to put the tissues in the bin, right? So scenes span that range of human activity.
Yes.
Yeah. So was it intentional to put that range of things in there?
Had ideas, tried to put ideas, and I just found ideas,
Connected them to each other?
Yes.
All right. If there's no further, then we're going to carry right on with the next scene. Okay, thank you, Aaron. Air brakes, and actually that second part is a bad dream. Air brakes is a bad dream. And so air brakes is, if you're happy to do sound effects, Aaron.
Yes.
Thank you. And if anybody typical day at Chemland?
Sorry, is Robinson Jackson?
That was, yeah, Robinson just did a bit of intro then, and that's it. Yes, let's go.
Chemland stock comes in. It is a busy day at Chemland. Stock comes in. Sheena and Lucy are at Chemland. They serve customers. Sheena goes out to the loading dock and waits for the big semi-trailer truck to come into the dock. The truck reverses into the dock, and then the truck driver takes his or her foot off the brake pedal. The air brakes go off and frightens Sheena, and she screams. Gets out using 3 points of contact off his or her truck and comes running. He or she has a look and sees she is behind the loading dock and didn't get run over.
Are you all right?
The air brake startled me.
Sorry, I did that. Just had to take my foot off the brakes.
I didn't know what that was. Can I have the stock today for Chemland, please?
Yes, I'll go and get the stock out of my truck.
Okay, I'm going to get the girls to help out.
Sheena gets Lucy and the Chemland staff to help with the stock.
Lucy, can you please get the staff to come out to the loading and get the stock from the truck, please?
Alright, I will. It looks like we need all the help we can get looking at this loaded truck.
Lucy gets on the PA system.
Attention staff, can you please come out to the loading dock to help out with the deliveries?
The staff come out, and once they get the stock from the truck, Lucy signs the PDA.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you. The driver climbs back into his or her truck and using the 3 points of contact and puts his or her seatbelt on, and the truck leaves Chemland. Sheena tries desperately to help out with the stacking shelves, but all she can think about is the truck startling her. Forget this. I'm going to the office. Sheena drops one of the items back into the box. Sheena power walks into the office to hide, strongly closing the sliding door behind her. Lucy hears a big thud from the office. Sheena shakes in fear because the truck startled her. Lucy goes into the office and calms Sheena down. Lucy is speaking and singing in a calm voice. All of a sudden, after the big thud from the door, Lucy's prized possession, a photo of her cutting the Chemland ribbon to open up Chemland, falls down and the frame smashes. Sheena thinks it was her fault and that she broke the picture.
Sheena, are you okay?
No, I got startled by the air brakes. They gave me a big fright. I'm so truly sorry that my door slam made your picture fall off the wall onto the floor.
Sheena, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. Just calm down and take deep breaths. I know it was an accident. I'll try to fix it. Sheena, my dear
Yes.
Before the owner goes to the front counter, he has a look at the drinks fridge. He gets a bottle of water when he discovers there are no cans of Coke. Hello, how are you?
Not good at all. I'm not looking forward to having this prep for my colonoscopy. It is going to be the worst thing I've ever tasted.
Once it's all over and you've been to the toilet multiple times, your colon will be clean and the doctor will be able to find the problem and try to fix it.
Okay, thanks for the advice. Can I have the bottle of water, please?
Sure. We have a 2-for-1 deal going at Kevland. You can get anything in the shop for the price of one.
Okay, so just a bread and a bottle of water, please. Thank you.
That'll be $10, please. Was that cash or card?
Lucy shakes both bangles and bracelets in the air, while card is sung in a high voice. Aaron pays with cash $10. Aaron leaves Kemland with his items.
Shop. Sarah and Lucy go to the shop to buy milk and ingredients for the bread maker. And Sarah buys sausages to cook the chicken tonight.
What ingredients for the bread maker do we need?
We need bread, flour, salt, yeast, olive oil, and water.
Lucy goes to get the ingredients.
Hello, can I help you?
Just the sausages, please.
That's $5, please.
Sheila pays for the item and waits for Lucy.
Next, please.
Hello.
Hi.
Just the bread, flour, salt, and sugar, please.
That would be $10, please.
Lucy pays and they leave.
Thank you and see you next time.
Thank
You too.
See, that's it, see.
Sheila and Lucy arrive home.
I am looking forward to breakfast and eating bread in the morning. Do you have any bacon and hash browns? I want to make bacon and hash brown and toast for breakfast in the morning.
I've got some frozen hash browns you can use and some bacon. Can I make the coffee, please?
Yes, you can.
Lucy teaches Sheila how to make bread.
First, we wash our hands.
Sheila and Lucy wash their hands with soap.
What do we do now?
Now we get out the bread, flour, and yeast, and olive oil. Now take your bread container and put it all in the ingredients in and select the program to make the bread.
Sheila looks out the window of the kitchen and she discovers that Lucy has an in-ground swimming pool.
Lucy, I would like to try having a dip in the pool one day, please.
Okay, one afternoon.
I would like to try some floating in the water, please. Are you a good swimmer, Lucy?
Yes, I'm a fantastic swimmer. I represented Queensland in the state swimming championships.
I'm so scared of putting my head under the water. I haven't learned to swim ever since I was a little girl because I was too afraid to put my head under the water.
Would you
Sheena Bad Dream at Chemland. Sheena Powell walks into the Chemland office. She was scared of the truck driver's air brakes. She slams the office sliding door hard. Lucy's prized possessions, the picture of Lucy cutting the river at Chemland at the Chemland opening, breaks. Lucy has a shocked look on her face.
That was my best picture of Caveman! You broke it!
I'm ever so sorry, Lucy. It was an accident.
Lucy transforms herself into a vampire with her vampire teeth and fangs and her sharp fingernails. Lucy shows Sheena her vampire teeth and her sharp fingernails.
Please don't take my blood, your mistress.
You better fix my picture!
Sheena replaces the golden frame. Lucy the vampire picks up the PA system. Jump scares Lucy, Sheena, while Sheena tries to fix the broken picture frame. Lucy the vampire evil laughs on the PA system and walks away.
Don't do that, Lucy, please.
Are you going to do a better job than that? You better, or else it's blood-taking time!
She said that's her bigger picture frame and tries to replace the picture.
That is not the correct size! Now it's blood-taking time!
No, please, don't take my blood, please, your mistress.
You don't have a choice!
Lucy takes some of Sheena's blood to drink and evil laughs.
I will do anything you say, your mistress.
Sheena wakes up with a shock. Lucy hears Sheena screaming from her bedroom and checks on Sheena.
Sheena, you okay?
Oh, no. I broke your picture of Cameron when I went to the office. I was scared of the truck air brakes. They startled me. You transformed yourself into a vampire trying to fix your picture. I said I was sorry, but you just scared me and took my blood.
Sheena! You had a nightmare, that's all. You're safe now. It was just a bad dream.
Lucy and Sheena go on the flight right away. Lucy and Sheena wake up early in the morning, get ready to go right away. Dot, 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 and so it continues.
So we've got obviously Joy and Robinson here. We've got Claire and Fuji, Jude over the back here, Lou and Alicia T. Dunn, Aaron as Aaron. We've got Lisa and Tommy and Kevin over there as well. So one round. Okay. You need that little break now, don't you? They jumped a little early tonight, so it would be great to hear from anybody in the room, actors, audience, family members. Welcome to Quiz That One. Yeah, so that was a big chunk. It took us about just over 15 minutes to do about 4 scenes. Yeah, so there, and you can see it's about 25, I think, something like that. Once again, you can see that big range that Aaron has, going from this, this vampire, ending up in the vampire bizarre world. But in the meantime, there's these very pedestrian going to the shops moments. There are these repetitions that happen, and we had tastier and juicier to have that, he or she, the truck driver. You know, it makes it juicier and tastier to go 3 exits with 3 points of contact. I don't know whether you think that. But yeah, I mean, these are the gems that Aaron picks up in everyday life. You know, you ask people a lot of questions, don't you?
Yes.
And how did you find out that 3 points of contact information?
Truck driving neighbours I used to know.
Cool. And what about Minfos? How did you find out about Minfos?
The research, I was talking to Terry White and Cam about it.
Yeah, brilliant. So that's...
Nothing over the chance.
Well, but, you know, Aaron goes around his daily... if you've met Aaron before, you've obviously been asked a question, right? Because that's how you interact with everybody. You're curious about the world. And I think that curiosity really comes through in the script as well. It's really...
I just, wanted to make a comment about it. I think it's amazing what you've done, Aaron.
Yes.
It's clever, it's so funny. And I just noticed in the first scene that just the dynamics between the two main characters, how it developed, and how they had a really interesting relationship, and how they were sort of regulating, one was regulating the other physiologically and emotionally. You know, singing to her, and her heartbeat was changing, and when she was very scared, and it was going up, and it was going down. And I just really thought that was a really nice touch to it. And I'm wondering if you thought about that consciously, to include the part about the heartbeat going up and then down, or did it come naturally to do that, or was it something you thought about?
Came naturally.
I love it.
And do you think about your heart? Like, is that where it comes from? Is it something that you think about within your own daily, life, regulating your heartbeat?
My heart stays as it is.
That's a very nice. I really love that sort of element of caring for each other. In this world, at this time in the world, there's not enough caring, and that script is just layered with caring. Just like layers and layers of, grateful caring.
But can I just add that in there? I thought the same comment I made before. Doing this script just made me realise just how many times people say breathe, even when I need to not do it, breathe. It's happening all the time in the script. Aaron's actually captured what we do, but we just aren't conscious of it, and writing it out, and it's beautiful. We've also done so much research last year in October. I was in the box in the theatre, and Aaron turns to me and goes, I'm writing a script. He said, have you ever had any
other. It's very dramatic, and also the repeated scene, which is a nightmare, and adding those elements into the nightmare to really elevate our understanding of how hard it is for Sheena to kind of cope with those memories and those moments. It's very, how should I say, you're a good storyteller.
Thank you. It's saying a lot, you know, Catherine Ash is a dramaturg at Jute Theatre, and so Catherine and Suella, thank you very much for coming along. Look at the play tonight, the play reading. Any other comments before I want just to ask it, put it back to a kind of a collective voice question? Yeah.
Aaron, I thought this was just going to be another play about two women dancing in carrot shop. It's really a lot deeper than that. We had a series of another angle in that segment.
And it just gets crazier.
The air race. I love the air race.
You did a great job of memorising where they come in the script too. And it goes, so Martin's our treasurer at Tropical Arts, so thank you, and also a great volunteer here at Art on many occasions as well. And I think, what was I going to say? Something correlating to toys. I'll pick it up when I think about it next. Kev?
I just wanted to say, to add to what I was saying before, that I couldn't say enough about what Tropical Arts does, but I think this evening will demonstrate to you in large format what we do, or more particularly what our board does.
Well, what we do, yeah.
We do.
Yeah, we do, definitely. Yeah, and that is about being able to go, all right, somebody's written a play, and I'm, accepting it and being very open with what it could potentially be. And I guess that's where it goes to the future. So I asked Aaron on Wednesday when we were running around doing media.
Yes.
And I said to Aaron, when do you see this? Do you see this being a big production, and when and all that sort of stuff? Would you mind recounting your answer?
2020 or 2023 as a full production.
And you see, this is also a wise man, because he's been listening to our conversation, saying nothing happens in a hurry. You can't sort of, and it's been 2019 when he gave me the play until now, and so being aware that it actually takes a lot of time to bring those resources together to actually put on a play. And where do you think it would be the best place that you would imagine, since you've got, I'm trusting in your vision, around Cairns, where would you like to have it?
Wollongong Arts Centre.
Wollongong Arts Centre, CPAC, all around us, so we've got lots of options, but the very good thing is we've got the venue manager, or the acting venue manager. Yes. And so that's awesome. And it gives us time to write grant applications and develop a kind of sponsorship, so that we can put this together with enough resources, so that all the characters, you can see how at the very beginning of the play, it started off with 2 characters. And then this next incarnation, we've got, more